Hello, hello. Welcome to my Wednesday evening, 5:20 p.m. And my son went to walk the dog, so I'm going to have an hour of like pure peace and quiet, no TV, no dog watching me cook and licking the floor, nothing. I'm just like chilled. All right. So this evening we are having a nice little springtime salad with some grilled fish. And I'm not going to show you the grilled fish because that's so elementary, and you could probably find it on my website. But I wanted to show you the salad. It's a very springy kind of salad that goes well with like as a side, but you could also have it as a main if you spruce it up. I'll explain later. I wanted to also give you a quick recipe that I'm testing right now, so it's still not complete. I'm testing it out for my ebook that's coming up for spring, and I wanted to show you that and what to do with this morning's juice pulp. You see? Recipe for that. So let's get started with what to do with this juice pulp. So this morning I made a wonderful, delicious orange, carrot, pineapple, ginger juice, okay? It's amazing, but the problem is you're left with all this pulp. I have like literally like practically 2 cups of pulp, or a cup and a half. And this happens a lot. And sometimes it'll be fruits that are difficult to recycle. If I'm using pomegranates or grapes or, things like that. But in the case of this one, it was pineapple, orange, and ginger and carrot. I just think carrot cake, right? So I'm going to show you how to make a cake that's gluten-free, processed sugar-free, and use the pulp so I don't waste it, okay? So first, I will tell you how I make these cakes because I have several versions of them. Some of them I use whole fruits, and you can find those on my website, but it's always the same base for the gluten-free cake. It's not vegan. Careful, it's not vegan. There are eggs in here. So what I do is I'm going to take rolled oats that are gluten-free, okay? These, I'm going to put them in my Vitamix. If you don't have a Vitamix, you can try doing this with a regular blender, or you can just buy oat flour. I think if you use a regular blender, you're gonna have to blend it for a little bit longer. So you'll see, this is so easy with a high-speed blender. Like honestly, I use the Vitamix so often, I feel like they should be paying me to be mentioning their name. But anyway, because it's so useful, really. I mean, I use it all the time, and I use it especially to make things like flours, like oat flour. Oat flour, almond flour. Look, I'm going to show you what it looks like. Now, it's so easy to make. So that's why I would never buy oat flour, because you're spending a lot of money for something that's you can do at home. And it's better. It smells so good. It really smells like oats, And it's very powdery. It's just like it's flour. It took 30 seconds. Gluten-free. Because that's the other thing. The other thing, sometimes you find oat flour, but it's not gluten-free. So people who are really sensitive to that might bother them. So I've used a cup of oats, and that will give me about 3/4 cups of flour. I'm gonna mix that with a 1/4 cup of almond meal or almond flour that you can also make yourself, by the way. So there you have it. So I do that. Then I'm going to put some baking powder. So the baking powder I use is also gluten-free, but it's also, more importantly, aluminum-free. So always check that. It's aluminum-free, your baking powder. A lot of people don't always check, so check it out. I will mix those 3 ingredients together, maybe add a pinch of sea salt, because sea salt is always good. I've preheated the oven to 175 Celsius. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, 350, something like that. Anyway, 175 Celsius. And so I mix these really, really, really well. Okay. In here, in this big white bowl, I've got a teaspoon of vanilla extract. So depending on the fruit pulp I have, I may or may not use vanilla extract, okay? So in this case, I feel like vanilla goes well with like carrot, pineapple, and like, you know, it's nice. But I have a recipe of this with cherries, with no pulp. It's just like frozen cherries. And for that, I would use almond extract. What could also be nice, could be using orange zest. You know, I could also use orange zest in the recipe here if I wasn't using vanilla extract. So you do that. I've got coconut sugar over here. I've got half a cup. On my website, I put 2/3 just because my kids like it a bit sweet. And you know, anytime there's something gluten-free, processed sugar-free, blah, 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 with like fruits and vegetables in it, they're not into it. So, you know, if it means I have to make it a bit sweeter, I'll do that. Or I'll add more vanilla or whatever. But for me, half a cup is fine. You could put up to 2/3. Let's just say that. If you don't have coconut sugar, put maple syrup, it's fine. Maybe don't put 2/3 cup, put half a cup. If you want to use brown sugar, you can. That's really nice too, if you're into that. Or just kind of like a raw kind of natural sugar is fine. Don't use honey. I don't like using honey in my cooking generally, because honey is actually, it can, like in Ayurveda, they say that honey, if you heat it, it becomes toxic to the system over time if you have it regularly. So I never use heated honey in my cooking. I might use it to glaze like meats and things like that, but in my baking, I don't use it that often. Occasionally, I guess. But anyways, in this case, coconut sugar. Now, I've got this. I'm going to add the dry ingredients, okay? And I'm going to add, okay, I say half a cup of coconut oil that is odorless. If you're not into that coconut taste, which doesn't always like go well with everything. In this case, it wouldn't be so bad, but whatever. But I don't have any left, so I'm just gonna put butter. If you don't have butter, you can use olive oil. Olive oil works very nice in these types of like coffee cakes. So I think I've got it all, right? Eggs, sugar, almond powder, vanilla, butter. It's all there. Okay, now I have lined. Okay, I have lined is a very big word, okay? I always say this in my recipes, right? I have lined a pan with a parchment paper. All I just do is boom and like this, okay? Nothing fancy. I mean, you could cut it up and like make it perfect. I can't be bothered, so I won't. You could, I was about to forget the pulp. You have to add the pulp, guys, add the pulp. So the pulp, here I've got quite a bit. Like I said, I have 2 cups. I'm not gonna put 2 cups of like pulp. I'll put maybe like a bit more than half of it. I mean, you could put, technically you probably could put 2 cups, but again, I have to manage the child kind of situation and stuff. They might not like it. You don't want to overmix like always with like muffins and these types of quick cakes and whatever. Never overmix. There you go. Done. Finished. You want to add cinnamon, you can. I mean, play around with these flavors. This is just, and depending on the pulp you're using, right? Like if I'm, say, making beet juice, look, I'll do this so you can see what I'm doing. If I use, if I have beet juice, I'll have beet pulp. And that's really nice. I'm not going to put 2 cups of it because it's going to taste like dirt, you know, because beets have this earthy taste. But I'll put some. Beets, carrots, orange, ginger, all that stuff goes so well. You can also put, what else? What other kind of juices? Like I said, pomegranate and stuff is a bit tricky because that pulp is very seedy. Vegetables, you know, I haven't really tried putting vegetable pulp. I'm sure you could, but like I said, with the kiddos, celery ain't gonna fly. You know what I'm saying? So here we go. I'm going to smooth it out. Boom, boom, boom. And I leave this for about 40 minutes. See, like this. Very pretty, very easy, very simple. Anybody can do it. In the oven. You're gonna see it like in a picture on Instagram or something. You're not gonna see it now because it's gonna take too long. All right, so second recipe. This is my spring like happy recipe, because here in Europe, in France right now, it is really feeling springy. Like you're seeing strawberries, you're seeing like all this like spring produce are starting to hit the shelves. Peas, fresh garden peas. So what I'm going to do is a salad that is on my website. It's a variation of it. I regularly make it, and it's a good base for a lot of other things. Like you can spruce it up as you want. Okay, so here I've got some herbs that I'm going to chop. When I'm making salads, you could chop it in my little grinder blender chopper. But I also like doing it by hand. So here I've got half a bunch of coriander, cilantro, half a bunch of parsley. They were big bunches though, so probably once it's all chopped up, it's close to 2 cups, all chopped up. And I also saw some beautiful watercress, and I love the peppery taste of watercress, and it's a little bit bitter as well. And you know, sometimes in foods they say it's nice when you've got all the taste, when you've got the sweet, the sour, the bitter, and all of that. And I think this is really a salad where you're gonna have all of those tastes. Okay, so there's a bit of the bitterness of the watercress, you've got the cilantro, the parsley, and this is such a great way to eat your greens. And this is a great lunch salad, by the way. Like this is a total make this for dinner and have some for lunch the next day kind of thing. Okay, and for dinner you're gonna serve it with like whatever, meat or chicken or fish or whatever, you know. If you want, like, you can add tofu to it, like whatever. And then for lunch you have it maybe more kind of cold, you know, with something like, you don't need to like have it with chicken or whatever necessarily. You can have a lighter version of it. Depends how you eat lunch. I like to have a light lunch. I'm very light during the day. I eat lots of fruits in the morning, lots of veggies at lunchtime, and grains. And I tend to go a bit kind of raw-ish at lunchtime. Sometimes I'll have like steamed vegetables and stuff with things, but I tend to be like that. And in the evening time, I like warm and I like cooked. And sometimes I'll have salad, but not, you know, I often like to have cooked stuff. Okay, so we've got this. Now, what I made a little dressing. The dressing is like super duper simple. It's like a few tablespoons of olive oil, a bit of balsamic vinegar, and I'm going to add some millet. So for those of you who don't know what millet is, this is millet, okay? Millet is a grain that's not, it's gluten-free. You often see it in Indian cuisine. They will use it in Ayurveda, like you'll have recipes with millet. And it's just a nice option, and it's a nutritious option to, like, say, couscous. And it's a change from quinoa, because quinoa has that like bit of a bitter taste, and sometimes I get a bit bored with quinoa. And it's a change from rice. It's just a nice change. So I cooked this. It's super easy to cook. I always like to soak mine. And then once it's soaked for an hour or two, I cook it with, like, if I used a cup of millet, I put a cup of cold water. And then I cook it slowly for like 20 minutes. Depends. Just follow the package directions. I put a cup, but see, I've got a lot over here. I've got like, you know, it more than doubled in volume. So there you have it. And what I might actually do is maybe add a bit more watercress, but you don't need to. Anyway, so put all the herbs. There you go. In here. Voila. Done. But it's not finished because I've got this last thing that I'm going to do. And then I'm going to add is strawberries. So I'm going to mix this really nicely. It's so pretty. you see, I didn't put much dressing. You might want to put more. I put a balsamic dressing, as I told you, because it goes well with the strawberries. But you could totally do lemon and olive oil. That would be really nice, because I put balsamic because of the strawberries, but lemon goes really well with the greens. You could also use lime, and also the lemon will keep the greens greener. So it's up to you. If you want a bit more acidity, you can do that. And when I cooked the millet, I added salt. So you've got some salt in there already. The strawberries, I don't put a lot because I don't like mixing fruits. You know how I told you I eat fruits in the morning often? Because like fruits are an empty stomach thing. Like eat fruit on an empty stomach. The Europeans, like the Frenchmen, they eat fruit for dessert. Like that's just such a no for digestion, right? But they do it and they do fine, right? But I don't like doing it because fruit will ferment on top of dinner, right? So you want to eat it like first thing. But in this case, it's just strawberries. It's a couple, and it makes it just so pretty. You see, it's such a gorgeous salad. And feel free to, you can use quinoa instead of millet. You can use couscous instead. You can use all sorts of herbs. You can put dill. Like it's so versatile. And if you wanted to do it like for lunch, to this I may add some feta, because I really like feta and strawberries, herbs and stuff. It's really good. So that's this salad. It's amazing. Now, last recipe. Remember I was telling you about peas? Peas are in like season and you're seeing them everywhere. So I took 250 grams of peas. That comes up to, I don't think it's 2 cups. It would be like 1.5 cup of peas. Oops. So I'm going to put these peas, I blanched them already. Okay, so you see, I blanched them, meaning I put boiling salted water and I threw in the fresh peas. If you don't have fresh, you could totally use frozen. I've used frozen before, and they're fine. But we're into seasonal, so there you go. So I put them in here. And honestly, like if you have a cup, 2 cups, 3 cups, doesn't matter, right? Like it's not like this. You're not baking a cake or anything. So I'm gonna add a little bit more salt, a squeeze of lemon. For like a cup and a half of these peas, I would put the juice of half of a lemon. I will also put olive oil, because I put olive oil in everything, like that. By the way, these have cooled, right? So once you've blanched them for maybe 2 minutes in boiling water, you take them out and then you put them in ice water so they stay really green. And then I plug this and I blitz it. And I'm hoping there you go. I'll put a bit more. There. Okay, so this is a nice change from hummus and whatever, like all the other dips, guacamole, and as delicious as those are, sometimes it's nice to have a something different. So what I will do to make this a bit more fancy and spring-like is I will add some chopped mint, because peas and mint are a thing. They go well together. You could also, if you want to make this a little bit like, I'll put a bit more lemon here. I've got my mint. Mint, I definitely chop with a knife, or I cut it with a scissor pretty finely. And there you go. If you wanted, you could put feta. Like I'm currently testing this recipe because I just feel like there's so many possibilities. I also feel like, there's a lot of, stay tuned for the ebook and you'll get my final recipe. But, for now, I'm playing around with this and it's so pretty. And because I am who I am, I'm gonna add a bit more olive oil on top. And it's gonna be really beautiful. And this is a really good way to serve vegetables because the kids, I know, for me, like they'll have raw vegetables really easily. And they will eat even more if they have it with like hummus or something else. And it's just nice, and it's a nice way to get extra vegetables in their diets, you know? And for me too, to be honest. And this is something typically, tomorrow's lunch will be this beautiful salad with this gorgeous thing. Maybe with a little bit of feta, like I said, and boom. But I tend to be on the vegetarian side, you know, so if you want to have like add meat, go ahead and add meat, you know, and it'll be delicious. You could also like add chickpeas or whatever, you know, that could be nice to the salad. So there you have it. That's all for today. I will post the cake when I can, when it's ready. And yeah, if you've got questions, let me know. Oh, by the way, I have been giving Zoom cooking classes for small groups of people trying to be on the same time zone, either Europe or the US. If you are interested, let me know. They happen every week. Like I haven't established like a clear, super uber clear schedule yet. It's just kind of starting out, and I feel like people have been asking about it a lot. And I've been doing it for a select few. So if you are interested, reach out. If you know, and if you've got like particular things that you'd like to know how to make or want to delve into, want to know more about or whatnot, let me know, because I am always happy to help. So if you've got questions, ping me, comment on YouTube, subscribe to my YouTube channel, share it, all that stuff, right? Comment. Did I say that already? Otherwise, go to my IG account, my Instagram account. It's Wellmama, WELLMAMMA. And the website is WELMAMMA.com if you want more recipes. So on that note, have a wonderful evening, and I hope you try one of these and let me know how it goes.